Hey family, we are live, broadcasting live. This is the Conversation Room 101. Make sure it's only adults in the house. I need your mind to be open, prepared, and relaxed. Welcome to our home. Take your shoes off. We got some rules we need to go over. Be kind. No cursing in the chat. If you want to curse, call in. And no shouting out other channels. That's a no-no. We got one other rule. There is no judging our guests. It will not be permitted. Zero tolerance. And if so, you want to do that, guess what? We got security. And we will escort you out. Because over here, hashtag we don't care. We're going to be one big family. We're going to laugh together sometimes. We're going to cry. But we definitely going to pray. I thank the Lord above for everything. I lift him up and give him the glory. But you guys, right now, we're going to get our popcorn. And then we're going to see what's going on. And let me just park my car. And I'll be in there in a minute. I'll see you real soon.
The Copyright Disclaimer Act. The Copyright Disclaimer Act under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comments, news, reporting, teaching, scholarships, and research. Fair use is used permitted by copyright statutes that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use.
Like, share, subscribe.
Do you want to know? Well, I've been thinking about you. And I think I'll have to listen. Because the sun is up, it's a beautiful day.
And we won't stop. We will not stop.
Sun. Come, won't you come along? And it feels so right. It's like luck is raining on me. Go and follow your heart. Doesn't matter how far. There is so much love to give. Something's telling me this time. Baby, baby, now
See this?
I know.
You cannot go.
Baby, baby, gotta go. There is so much love to give. Something's telling me it's right.
Neighbors and their
When you
community
came to me,
compelled
who
to
are
scour
you?
the area.
It's you, yeah, boy.
Where does the fault lie on you?
Hey family, how's everybody doing? You guys, we still in 2025. It is December the 29th, 2025. I hope you guys are getting ready for this new year. It's kind of a little cold here. How is everybody doing? If it's snowing in your part of the neck of the woods, let it be known that you got some snow. We don't have snow, you guys, but it's cold. It's too cold to snow where I'm at. I'm in the middle of the United States. That's in Kansas. But you guys, come on in. We got a lot to talk about. Let it be known if you got some snow. If you ain't got no snow, let it be known. I'm good. I am good. Let's see who's all in the building. You guys come on in. We got Freddie in the dark. She in here. Freddie Johnson. Lisa Taylor. We got Nancy LaRose. We got Shauna X9. Shauna Z9X. That's who we got. We got Zena in the building. We got Lisa Taylor in the building. We got Nancy LaRose in the building. We got Only What You Like is in the building. Only What You Like. That's a new name. I haven't heard that name before. Thank you for showing on up. You guys know you got to hit the like button. Make sure you share. We're going to talk a little bit about what I have found out on December the 5th, you guys. I did not know this is what was said, but I am just going to give you the clip notes of it, you guys, because I don't have the transcript. But I read the clip notes. I can't upload it and, go all into the legal things, but we can talk about it a little bit. And I'm going to tell you something. It's really weird that when we get ready to pick up a case, a little bit more information comes out about Naziah case. And the Naziah case is in Detroit, you guys, Detroit. And it's a little girl, a young lady. I won't say little girl, because when you say little girl, you're talking 10 and under. You say little girl. She was she was a teenager though. I think she was around about 13, 14. And she came up missing January the 9th, the same day that Jarvis Butts was supposed to go to court. You guys know, allegedly she's supposed to be pregnant by Jarvis Butt, which what she was like 13 or whatever, and he was like 42, and he dated her aunt and got 5 kids by her aunt, and he has been having this relationship, a sexual relationship with this young girl for a long time. And he's been having relationships with other children, which is his own children, which is his nieces and nephews and things. So he's got a lot of cases that he's looking at. I think it's around about 6. Now don't quote me on the numbers. I know it is a lot, but I'm pretty sure it's close to 6. But anywho's, you guys, and then he just picked up a case, and it's supposed to be we don't know if it's a young. I think I'm pretty sure it is a young lady. It's not a little boy, but that's kin to him. So we don't know if we're talking about his own kid with Shannon or with another woman or with his girlfriend, because she has kids by him also. So anyway, you guys, this new case that been picked up, we don't know a lot of information about it because she's a minor. And we knew about the case prior to that, which the young lady is now 20 or 21, which is his child. But anyway, I wanted to share what they offered. So this section of the chat, we're going to talk about it a little bit. I just want you guys to know what I know and what you think about the whole situation. If you're following the Jarvis Butt case, where he has been having a field day with all kinds of children, his kids, other people's kids, and I don't want to put more on him than he done did, but trust and believe, we will never know all the children he has afflicted, okay? This nasty, demonized venom to. Because trust and believe that all these kids are going to have problems. They're going to have problems in their relationships. They're going to have problems with their identity, especially if they're little boys and little girls. There's no man around. They're going to think that is normal, or they're going to think they're the reason why it happened. Like I can only say that from just knowing and having experienced things in my life, that sometimes, and this is not every child, but sometimes the child may feel even that they are the cause of what's done happened to them, or make them feel ashamed, because you don't sit there. It ain't like you won the lottery, like, oh yeah, my uncle, he's doing things with me. That's not something that you go and tell your girlfriend and share. You share like, hey, I just won $500, or I just won me a brand new car, or I got this job, or I'm dating the guy that I've been liking. You don't sit there and go, hey, guess what? My uncle's fiddle faddling around with my private parts and making me do things to him and all this and he's my boyfriend and I'm his girlfriend and you don't share that. And just thinking about Naziah in a full relationship with this grown man, and in this relationship she couldn't even share it with nobody. you know she didn't share it with nobody. She said he was the only one. you know she even told him, you don't know how I feel that you get to go and have all these relations with other people, and she get to see it. He loving on him, hugging on him, kissing on the auntie and girlfriends, and he got a live-in girlfriend and all these other kids and stuff, and he picking them up and spending time with them. And she's sitting there saying, you don't know how I feel. And I love you. I'm in love with you. And I got to share you. And she even told him one time, go be with Shannon and get it over with. Give her some. Give her some of what you got down there below. I don't want to say it, you guys, because, it is, even to say it, it's almost like, it's just nasty. It's just nasty. You know what I mean? Say happy birthday to your nephew, Zena. She says, no snow in Atlanta. Girl, she's all the way. I didn't know you was in Atlanta. Okay. We got no snow either, but it's coming. We're supposed to get snow on Wednesday. Oh, really? Really? Okay. Okay. I need to know. Somebody got some snow. So anyway, you guys, let's break. I know you guys want to know. So, like I said, we don't have to have long lives to just share the information. But in the transcript, they had offered Jarvis 80 years to life. And they were going to cancel, and that's for second-degree murder. You know that they charged him with first-degree murder, which, I mean, here's the thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, they charged him with first-degree murder, and they offered him, second-degree murder, drop all the other charges. All the charges can run consecutive. That means at the same time for all the other charges. It's almost like, and I told y'all when it's consecutive, or if it's what's the other word? Consecutive or not continuous, but anyway, I can't think of it. If you guys can think of it, put it in the chat. My mind is all other places because let me read what you guys it was in the 70s last couple of days, a little chilly today. How you doing, Lisa Calhoun? What's going on with you? What's going on? Birmingham, Alabama is where I live. Yes. Happy birthday. Happy holidays. Miss Didi is in the building. Jarvis, yes, that's what he is, Freddie. That's exactly what he is. It's snowing in Illinois because God knows what's much needed rain. Emmanuel, dimming the street lights in a major city, and it's too dark where children need to grow. I'm not new. Ursula. I remember Ursula. Okay. Jarvis doesn't know there's a place. Yes. Some things I can't say. A place for alcoholics and a place for drug abuse and a place for those that is addicted. Yeah, he's gonna, but I don't think he's ever gonna get out of prison. Even if he doesn't take the offer, he doesn't take the offer, he's still never going to get out of prison. Because here at the end of the day, you guys, and I told you guys this, I mean, it's sad not to let the children flourish that is in the society we live in, of course. And of course, the movie televised it. Okay. Concurrent. Concurrent. So concurrent and what's the other one? One's concurrent and the other one is what? It's not consecutive, is it? It's concurrent and something else. Anyway, you guys say it like you mean it. Tell him happy birthday. She said he in North Carolina. That's all right. That's all right. You guys, check this out. And I told you guys a little bit consecutive. So the word is consecutive and concurrent. So concurrent, and we looked it up, but let's look it up again real quick. Consecutive and concurrent. Okay. So what does consecutive mean in law?
In law, consecutive means serving prison sentences one after the other, adding to the total time. For example, a 5-year sentence and a 3-year sentence served consecutively means an 8-year total, unlike concurrent sentences which run at the same time. For legal advice, consult a professional.
So we know consecutive is not the word, it's concurrent. So he was offered 80 years on the second-degree murder, and all the other charges is either dismissed or they're going to run concurrent. Concurrent. Concurrent meaning at the same time he's doing the 80. Wow. Concurrent. Okay. Yeah, because you know, like when you know, and I thank God, and I'm not boasting, but only one person, well, two people in my family ever went to prison. Well, actually, three. My brother, one of my brothers went, my uncle went, and then my cousin, my second cousin, he went. Now, my brother probably only did like maybe a year. You know, he was stealing, and he got caught. Well, he didn't get caught. He told on himself. My uncle went to prison for murder, but he didn't do the murder. My other uncle did the murder. They're both dead now, so I can just tell y'all the truth. But you know, that's why I tell you, innocent people do go to prison. You know, his brother did the, and I don't know if it was. I don't know so much about the case. I just know that somebody died, but I don't know if it was you know, anger, hate crime, or was it self-defense. I can't tell you guys that. I was too young. I just know one of them went to prison. Does that seem to light of an offer? Doesn't that seem to be a light of an offer? Well, I always hope them stories don't be true on social media. Oh, but they do. Lisa Calhoun says, doesn't that seem to light of an offer? No, because think about it, okay? Someone told me that the lifespan now is 120. 120. And that's the oldest person. And you might can live to 126, 27. Or, but I think they, no. I think they said 126. The oldest person that, I mean, like, you're not going to get there. Like, if you get there, you're like 1 in a million now to even get there, you know? Like, you can get to 100. You can get to probably maybe even 105, but anything after that is just you're in the statistics of one in millions to live longer than that. And to get to 120, 126, you're like one in a billion, okay? One in 7 billion. I mean, someone told me that, and I was at work. So I love when people share with me their knowledge and their info. And I was like, surely that is not true. But I looked it up when they told it to me, and what they said was true. So 3 people in my family that I know about went to. So you know. So yes, he will die before he even get out because he's like 42. So he would have to do 80 years before he even see a parole board. Now, take it that, nothing nowadays is straight time. Like when they give you 80 years, you do strictly 80, and I'm not no professor or anything, but usually like an 80 year, they'll end up probably doing, maybe they say 3/4 of that. So 3/4 of 80, 40 would be 60 years. So is it light? I don't believe it's light. I believe that it is adequate. I believe that I wish he would go ahead and take it and call it a good day. When they say, "Oh, you got 5 life sentence." Okay, let me share some with you. That sounds great on paper. It even sounds great out there. You threw it out there. It came out your mouth. You say you get 5 life sentence. A person can only live one life. Okay, and then you know what I mean? Like, like, are they saying? Because life here in Kansas is like 25 years. It's not life. People need to understand that. Don't get mixed up in the gerbage. 25 years is a life sentence here in Kansas. I don't know what it is in the other states, but when they say life sentence, 5 life sentence, or 3 life sentence, that's like 75 years. Okay? So when they say 80 years, when you take off good time, and you never know. You never know. But, I don't know if they have the death penalty in Detroit. I don't know. But, or whatever. Some states they do. And even when they even get that, the death penalty, it's so long down the road, most of them don't even live to even see it happen. Now, I'm not saying it don't happen, because some of them I'm not never witnessed no execution, but I have, read where somebody was, they were on their last, and they got 24 hours, and they was asking for a pardon, and they didn't get it, and that was the end of that, and it was a done deal. Miss Didi says they need to just say 99 years without parole. Well, no. And here's the thing. So the judge, and we were all there, we got to hear where the judge say, come back. I think they're going to go back on January the 23rd. And it's the last conference. That was supposed to be in the last conference. He made another one because the last charge was not anything to do with the offer that was on the table. They want to wrap everything up. I guess it can save the people a lot of money, instead of going, okay, we're going to charge you, for second-degree murder, and we're going to give you 80 years. And he says, yes, okay, I'll take it. And then here he going to court, and he's looking at something else. So, hold on. To make matters The lawyers, hold on, I'm trying to get this off my finger now. The lawyers told the judge that they hadn't put in account the last case that he got charged. So Freddie says that means you will die while in prison. Yeah, he's gonna die in prison. He's not gonna get out. And Zena says, I know a 16-year-old who got 180 years for grape. He's in his 30s now. Okay. Yes, yes, yes. Freddie says, I'm sure they have people with Alzheimer's that have forgotten what they're in there for. Yes, yes, correct. And I'm going to tell you something. People, any situation you get yourself into, you can adapt. You may not like it. You may remember the old days where you was out and free, driving a car, going to work, having babies, getting married, going to school, going on a date, going to the restaurant, going to the movies, out to eat, just riding in the park. But you can adapt to that lifestyle, going to the yard, getting a phone call, getting mail, going to church. It's a whole different world. But I'm gonna tell you guys something, because and we're not gonna talk about the details. If you're in here and you don't know what I'm talking about, you can slowly understand that, like when you have a situation that has occurred, which I have had, and I brought it to you guys and said, hey, what do you guys think I should do? Should I ask for a meeting? Well, I'm just gonna give you the update on that meeting. We just had the meeting. We had it over the phone, so it wasn't like I had to get dressed, go to the job and be like, hey, I'm here. They called me on the I called them on the phone. I called HR on the phone and said, hey, are we gonna have this meeting? And I'm gonna share with you guys how this works. So HR says, I didn't know that you even asked for a meeting. I'm like, yeah. She's like, oh, okay. Yeah. Well, what type of meeting who do you want to be in this meeting? And da. So, like I said, not to get into details of things, but I shared with them everything. And I'm gonna tell you guys something. You guys do not even know the half of it. I told you the first half. Oh, it's been a lot after that. It's been a lot after that. I mean, to the point where for anybody else, they would have just said, I'm done. I'm out of here. So check this out. And only what you like, you know what? Sometimes, and I know you wasn't in here when we spoke about this situation, but it's funny how I can read what people say, and you've got some kind of discernment on your heart, because you said what I'm getting ready in this conversation to speak on. But only what you like says God does handle things better than men will ever. So I'm going to share this with you. So we had the meeting and everything, and I think it went okay. But it was kind of trying to shift a little bit. And I'm kind of a little disturbed about that. Because they said, well, okay, so the guy that asked me, how did this person transfer? And I told him, they say, well, when C asked him, wouldn't it have been helpful if the nurse would have, you know what? They was like, well, what did he say? I said, I don't know what he said. I walked away. But the question was, like, I needed to know what he said. Like, are you serious? Oh my God. But okay. This is what I want to say on that. Hey, Crystal, how you doing? What I want to say on that is this, you guys. Okay? I speak to this guy at work. He's an African, and he preaches the word every time when we talk. He's basically giving me peace. It's almost like, I'm just going to be honest with you. He's so into the word that it's almost like God is speaking through him, through his ministry, to give me peace. I don't know if you guys understand what I'm saying. I don't know if you guys understand what I'm saying. But last night, I went and talked to him a little bit because I was like, oh my goodness, I'm not ready to walk away from this job. But it's getting a little racist. It's getting a little targeting and all this other stuff, And I'm like, okay. But at the end of the day, he was telling me, and I got it. He was telling me that, keep my mind, like, rejoice in the Lord. Even when you're going through, he was telling me about Paul and Paul being in jail, and and I know all the stories. You guys know all the stories. And it's hard to be happy. And, someone will tell you, rejoice, even when you're going through. Well, when he said it, I said, well, where's that at? He said, it's Philippians 4:4. And actually, if you go to Philippians 4:4, he tells you to, when you're going through whatever you're going through, it says rejoice. And then he says, I tell you again, when he iterated and said, again, rejoice. And, I told him I was going to go read it, and I left him, and I went to my area to work. And, something always happened. The girl was like, oh, I'm sick. I got to go home. So now she goes home. So I cannot get on the computer and start reading the Bible. So now I'm on the floor and I'm helping, my staff because we're low and this, that, and the other. Anyway, but I get home and I read it. And let me bring it up real quick. Let me bring it up. I'm gonna give God his glory because he's so good. Philippians 4:4.
Philippians chapter 4, verse 4 tells believers to rejoice in the Lord always, Paul urges. It emphasizes staying joyful in God no matter what, serving as a foundation for the surrounding verses about prayer, gentleness, and peace.
And it says, rejoice in the Lord always. Again, I will say, rejoice. Rejoice. And I'm like, how do you rejoice? Because wouldn't that be an action word? Rejoice. Define. Feel or show great joy or delight. So, what is the biblical definition of rejoice? Webster says give you joy, to feel joy or great delight, while rejoice in mean to have or possess. So scripture tells us to rejoice in the Lord, but we must remember to always have joy or delight in the Lord. So I can tell you guys, when I was talking to HR and my boss, they were trying to kind of flip it, because I told them, I said, I don't know what this girl's problem is. Like, it seems to me she got a problem with my color, even though she ain't said nothing about color. It's like she's got a problem with colored people. And they kind of, I'm pretty sure their eyes bucked open. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure their eyes bucked open when I said that. But you know what? I think my voice was getting heightened at a time, and something came over me and said, calm down. Oh, it was the Lord. I know it was. It said, calm down, lower your voice. And then they was like, well, when we were getting off the conversation, coming to the end, they was like, well, we don't want no retaliation, and we don't want you to lose your license. And I told them, I said, hold on. First of all, I'm not going to say nothing to this girl. Absolutely nothing. I said, I'm not even angry with her. I'm sad. I'm not even mad at her. I'm just sad. And you don't know how this feels. The Lord was giving me the right words to say. It's a simple word. I couldn't even explain it. But I was telling them, oh, I'm not in no mood to, oh, we're gonna talk about it on the floor, and we're gonna do this, or I'm gonna retaliate. I said to myself, the Lord said, sad. Tell him you're sad. And then I said, I'm not going to do anything. I will leave first. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I will leave first. The nursing field was my therapy. It should be mandatory in school. Okay. So anyway, you guys, exactly. Anyway, I seen they were trying to go another direction, you know. But my boss said, we know you do a good job. Keep doing what you're doing. Blah, 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 blah. And then HR was like, well, we cannot talk to you about what happened, but we got some more people we need to talk to, and da 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 da. And then they turned around and said, oh, when that situation happened, she was sitting behind you. And I was like, yeah. She was like, no. When Casey came up to you and asked you how to transfer this person, C was sitting right behind you. And I was like, yeah. I was wondering what they were thinking about. Like, what did she say? Like, did she say, Casey came to her and said, I'm having trouble or such a, and then she said, I'll help you. What lie did they tell? You know what I'm saying? But I'm going to tell you guys this. And it never fails, that if you think you're going to remember things, write it down. That's something I didn't do. And then not only that, like, because you're going to forget little things and you're going to say, oh, yeah, da 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 da. But sometimes people may make it seem like this is very important. Like, we're focusing on this. It's funny how you didn't ask me no questions about her taking that oxygen from the resident. I digress. Tuh. But you want to know, oh, she was sitting right behind you? Yes. Yeah, she was sitting right behind me. What are you asking me? You can look at the cameras and see. She was sitting right there behind me. You know? When I worked as a nurse, I had a pen that was a recorder. Really? Huh. I didn't think I have to do that, Zena, but I might have to, I have a couple of recorders. I might have to get get it. Get me one, you know? Hmm. I might have to get me one because, you know, it never fails. Inconspicuous. Hmm. Yeah, but I plan not to even have to talk to this young lady, you know. But I'm gonna still do my job. You know, and at the end of the day, I I don't I think she do got a problem with my color, but and because that's the foundation of the situation. It's not because of anything else. It has to be. But I mean, there's no way to prove that. Um, but it's sad that instead of her going to school and so she can be a nurse since she wants to tell people what to do or whatever, you can't just come in because you think you're a great worker or whatever, that hey, I'm gonna tell the charge nurse what to do. No, you're not. I mean, you're not. No, I have to control what's going on there. Yeah, I'm probably gonna invest in one, Zena. I haven't thought about it, but now just to have it, just in case something jumps off, you know what I mean? That Thank you for that information. And matter of fact, just because we talking, but I'm writing this down. Uh, that pen ain't don't want to work. But I'm I think that the situation now has came to an head. They have to do something about it. I don't know what they're gonna do. She said on Amazon for $29. Is that all? Shoot, I can afford that. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get one. I'm pretty sure. Just to, like you say, cover my own butt. Just cover my own butt. Just in case, because I'm not ready to leave this job. Like, the job is so easy and I like it. I like the residents. I don't want to leave. I'm just being honest with you. I don't want to leave. You know what I mean? But I'm not going to sit there and let somebody just what is it? what is it when people pick on people, harass me, and uh, bully me? She's a bully. She's a bully. I'm gonna check it out. That's just for me to, I'll turn it on when I have to, you know, or whatever. But I know that they got glasses that got cameras and recorders on them now. That's why I tell people all the time, you can't do stuff in this time and age and think you just smart. Think you just smart, smart, smart. You know what I'm saying? Yes. That's the way things are. Yeah. Anyway, um I'm gonna share with you guys something else. And it was so weird because I like watching Pop the Balloon, where people find love and this, that, and the other. I watch those little episodes and stuff, and I just be laughing, and it's good. It's entertainment, but some people are actually looking for love or whatever. But then it went off, and then this show came in called Deceitful. And I don't know what the show was going to be about, but it was about a young girl that could not hear. She was deaf and dumb, where she couldn't really talk either. Well, I guess she could talk, try to sound out the words, but lightning struck, and I guess she got struck by lightning or whatever. But she could hear, and then she can hear, but she not only heard, people, her father's voice and her mother's voice and things. She started hearing the Lord's voice too, and I was like, wow, this is a good movie. And I would have came on at 1 o'clock, but I got into that movie and I said, I want to watch this. And God was speaking to her, and God would tell her things, and she would tell people, if they had, cancer or the baby was gonna live, and tell the doctor that, the umbilical cord was wrapped around the baby's neck. And so, and then the news got a hold of what was happening, and people was showing up at the house, and she would tell them a lot of stuff. And then she helped this guy get out of jail with the evidence, and found that they did have the DNA. It wasn't lost. It was just found somewhere. I'm just telling y'all about the movie if you go look it up. But the main reason for the movie was that she heard God's voice. First, people wasn't believing her. Then they started believing her. And then something had happened at the end of the story where this girl was trying to kill her or whatever. But anyway, the voice, uh, you know, I guess it closed up. It closed up, and you seen this flower that just closed up, and then she couldn't hear. She couldn't hear again. They was riding in the car going home or something. Then she was trying to uh, signal her father to let him know that she couldn't hear. Anyway, but she could still hear God's voice, but she couldn't hear them anymore. Anyway, you guys, that was a really good movie that you have to sit back and watch. It wasn't like, a lot of drama and all this other stuff. Now, somebody did try to kill the little girl and everything, but what I'm saying is the message to the story was that she heard God's voice. That's the message. She heard God's voice. And that was right at the time that I had to have the meeting. So it had calmed me down a little bit. Freddie, let me tell you something. Freddie said, I would love to hear God's voice. Let me tell you something, Freddie. The reason why the movie was so, I was compelled to that movie and moved by it, because if you tell people you heard God's voice, first of all, you'll say right now, like I don't care. Nobody's gonna believe you. You say I don't care. It's very, it's like this. It's easy to say that because you haven't heard his voice. You'll say, I don't care if nobody believe me. I just want to hear his voice. Let me tell you about his voice. Let me tell you, okay? It's very hard to explain, but it's a voice. And it's not like, oh, it's not like that. It's very calm and peaceful. And you can feel love in the voice. You can feel love in the voice. You know how at certain times when somebody will come to you and say something and you can feel what they say instead of hear what they say, you can feel what they say. It's like, that deep hurt when you're hurt, but you can't say it, but you just cry and you moan and there's no words and it's, and you're like, and you're just crying. That's because you're feeling what your mind is relaying to you. You're feeling it. That's what God's voice feel like. You feel what he's saying to you. You understand what I'm saying? You hear it, but you feel it. Okay? Now, here's the thing. And I'm going to tell you why I say what I'm saying. Everybody is totally different. If you heard his voice, it can be different from how I experienced it. But I'm just telling you my experience. But I'm also going to say, I choose not to want to hear his voice again right now in my life. And I'm going to tell you why. It's not because I don't love him, because first of all, you would think that when you hear God's voice, you got all these questions, but that's not what. First of all, if you hear his voice, you have to think at that particular time what is so important that God himself have to get off his throne and to speak to you. Think about that, because that's what you're gonna think. You're gonna first you're gonna wonder, like, surely this is not God. Like, what is this? What is this that I'm hearing? But I mean, your mind is gonna go so fast. You're gonna think these things. You're not gonna ask the questions. You're gonna think, like, is this or? But you're gonna know. Like I said, you're gonna feel his presence. You'll be able to feel his presence. You're gonna know it's God. You're gonna know. You can ask yourself the question, is this God? It doesn't matter. Your answer is gonna be, surely this is God, because you're gonna feel his presence. You're gonna feel the love that he has for you first. That's what you're gonna feel. So then you're gonna know it's God. Nobody's gonna be able to tell you, or nobody is gonna be able to hear what you hear. So then you're gonna think, and this is how I thought. Why would he be speaking to me? Like, why? And then you're going to hear what he says. And what he says at the time, you're going to be thinking, only one or two things. It's a good thing, or it's something real bad. Like for him to get off his throne and speak to you, is it good or is it bad? Okay? Let me explain to you my experience. I had anger, a real bad anger in my heart that I was going to hurt somebody. And he spoke to me and told me not to go home. Okay. I had to think at that moment, is this God or is it not? First of all, if it was anything other than God, it would have told me to hurry up and get there. Because I know, only I know I had this anger that was just, I'm telling you, I was ready to take someone out. Okay? So my thinking was real quick, was like, this has to be the Lord. Because anything else would have told me, hurry up and get there. So then I knew, I'm telling you guys, just in case you might come into a situation of this nature or something. Like it was that serious. It was that serious. Now I'm going to share with you something, and I'm gonna tell you. Um, I'll just share with you. When I read the book of Job, remember everybody knows about Job because we used to call Job Job. We'd be like, why would a person be named Job in the Bible? No, his name was Job. Well, everybody knew Job was an upright, standing person, and God walked with him and everything. And then the devil asked for him, and the God was bragging on Job and said that he was a faithful servant and all of this. And the devil said, surely he's a faithful servant because you give him everything. But if you take that edge away from him, because you got him, you got him surrounded by gifts and everything. Of course he's going to praise you and love you and be there for you and everything. But but if you let me have at him, he'll curse you out. And the Lord said, okay, I'm gonna let you have him, but you cannot touch him. Basically, you can't kill him, can't take him out. So the devil's like, all right, good, okay. So remember, all of Job's kids died. Job's wife, all his cattle and all his riches got burnt up and everything else. And then Job ended up with all these blisters, and he looked, pus was coming out of his skin and all this other stuff. He was, and his wife told him, you need to go on in and curse him on out. Curse him on out. Job still said no, but Job did go to the elders and ask them for advice. And they told Job, you must have done something, Job. Job said, no, I looked at everything and that you need to go back because you must have done something. And Job, he went over, did he let his staff go home on holidays? Did he give to the needy? Did he do this? Did he do that? And he was fine combing all his steps. And then Job asked the Lord, he was praying, and he asked the Lord to answer him. He didn't, because remember, the Lord wouldn't speak to Job all through this time. And then Job asked the Lord, he said, answer me. So when you, Freddie, said, I would love to hear the Lord's voice. I'm going to tell you something. You think you want to, you think, but it's never something, well, I won't say never, but it's scary because if the Lord came to you and told you to do something that you really deep in your heart did not want to do, nobody can tell you nothing. Because when he told me not to go home, that 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 is not what I wanted to hear. Matter of fact, my mother couldn't even tell me not to go home. That's the only person on the earth that I would even consider. She's not even in the runnings. Like, you can't tell me what to do. I'm going home. I'm going to go see about my kids. But when the Lord told me not to go, only thing I could do was cry. See, I'm not a cryful person. So I'm crying because I know it's him. But I also know that I have to trust him. It didn't look good. Everything in my gut was like, I love my children. But I listen, and my kids are well and okay because I trust him. But I trust him with my children also. And I know y'all say y'all do, but trust and believe. When you know when that situation comes about, you're gonna have to weigh out. Do you really? Or are you just saying this because you're thinking that something of this nature will never happen? Well, it happened, and I had to make a choice. And like I said, that was not what I wanted to hear. That's not what I wanted to do. I did not want, but I know it was him. And I just prayed about it, prayed, and I didn't go home. I put it in God's hands. Everything turned out right, but I wonder what would have happened if I would have went. I don't know what would have happened. I probably wouldn't be here. I probably would be in prison or dead. I don't know. And see, that's where people be like, they don't believe because it turned out okay for me. It turned out good. Like, all my children are alive. I'm alive. I'm not in jail. I'm not in prison. I didn't hurt nobody and all that and the other. But evidently, had I not listened, I don't know where I would be. You don't have to believe me. I won't say I don't care, but you don't have to believe me because this is my testimony. But I can tell you, I don't pray to hear his voice again. You know what I'm saying? I don't pray to hear his voice again because what we think is very important and crucial, and to us it is, but the Lord got a lot to deal with. And I know we are the apple in his eye. I know that. And we can go to him for any and everything. But, like I now believe to try to live the most simplest life I can live. I do. I try to live, I don't try to get in nobody's face. I don't try to be talking about people in the back. I just tell y'all the truth. I just tell you what just happened. I'm just serious. You know? And sometimes I don't even know that. I don't even know what to do. And that's why I come to you guys and I say, well, what do you think I should do? Or what do you think this mean? Or, what, because I'm just an average mojo person. But I definitely know that, you know how some people may think God is so far away that we talk a good game. We talk about this and we talk about that. And, he's not where he can touch you. Let me tell you something. I tell people this all the time, especially when they're in a bad situation. I say, well, what if Jesus was sitting right there next to you? How would you be talking now? Would you still be cussing your daughter out, or would you still be thinking this, thinking I have to rethink my mind because I do get thoughts about hurting people sometimes or getting some revenge. And then I have to go talk to somebody that loves the Lord and they have to give me a word of encouragement like they did with Jesus in the wilderness. I talk to my husband, shoot, I talk to my friends or whatever. And because even though, I'm reborn again and everything, I'm still that same person. You know what I'm saying? That those thoughts sometimes run in my head like I just want to knock the block off this girl or whatever, and I'm not telling you I'm all over it. I'm just telling you, like I feel better when people give me word of encouragement, but don't beat me down with the Bible and the word. I don't like that. Don't be sitting there just, you know what I'm saying? I just don't like when people do that. It's like it's so fake to me. You know what I'm saying? It's so fake. Like, you know, because if this is the word and this meant for me, trust me, I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it. And like I said, Philippians 4:4 says, rejoice in the Lord. And again, I say rejoice. That word just boom. I'm like, what is rejoice? Rejoice. Is it an action word? Is it adjective? You know what I'm saying? Because hold on. I ain't did English in a long time. What is an adjective? Oh shit. Definition of an adjective. Oh God. A word or phrase naming an attribute, adding, related to a noun. No, is this not an adjective? Adverb. What is an adverb? What is an adverb? Okay, an adverb quickly as he ran quickly. Yeah, describing how. It's an adverb. So is rejoicing an adverb?
No, rejoicing isn't an adverb. It's usually a verb or a noun. However, the adverb form is rejoicingly, which means in a joyful manner. For example, someone might run rejoicingly to greet someone.
So it's a verb. Rejoicing meaning joyful or an excluded manner. You are not alone when it comes to emotions. So a verb. So is a verb an action word?
No, so isn't an action verb. It's usually an adverb or a conjunction connecting ideas. It can appear with verbs for emphasis, but other words perform the action, while so describes how or why, like in I so want to go.
So they're saying rejoice is a verb, but not an action as which an adverb. So rejoice is not like jump or skip or run. So rejoice is a verb meaning what?
To rejoice means to feel or show great joy, happiness, or delight, especially when celebrating good fortune. It can also mean making someone else happy, expressing deep gladness, and is often used in religious contexts.
So it feels or show great joy. So when the Lord tells us in Philippians 4:4 to rejoice, and then he reiterates and say again, I say rejoice. So when you're going through a calamity, a disrupting situation, he's telling us to rejoice and be happy that he is there, he is with you, he is over it, he has control over everything, he is God, he is good, he is truth, he is the light, and keep your thoughts on those things. So when Peter, not Peter, Paul. So when Paul was in prison, getting ready to be executed for something that he didn't do, he was singing hymns and rejoicing. Anyway, you guys, that's my thought for today. I hope it helps somebody. I'm just letting you know what I'm going through. Maybe you're going through it too. Maybe it'll help you. You guys, I'm finna get off of here. I love you. By the grace of God, be good, be great, and be nice to each other.